Hello, everyone. Here I am about to start the practice session, the review session on the theoretical yields and on determining the limiting reagent and determining the percentage yield questions. Okay, look at the first question. Use the balanced equation. So when we read something like this, it will definitely help you when you highlight these things. Okay. So it says it is the balanced chemical reaction. So now your job is very much easier since the equation was already balanced. So now we know, okay, we know these the coefficients are correct. They using the coefficients we can determine the stoichiometry between these reactants or between products or between reactants and products. Look at the first question. How many grams of P4 and NO are required to react if 2.88 grams of P4O6 must be made? So where we should begin with? Yes, we should begin with the data given. Now we know we have to find the starting amounts that we must use from P4 and NO to obtain 2.88 grams of P4O6. So let's start with the 2.8. Okay. Mm, 2.88 grams of P4O6. Right. You all know we cannot make a ratio using the grams. What we should do next step? We should change these grams of P4O6 into the moles of P4O6. So then what we must use to change the grams to the moles? Yes, we need the molar mass of this P4O6. Now I expect now everybody knows how to find the molar mass by using and calculating the total atomic masses from the periodic table. So in that case, I I can say that the one one mole of the P4O6 weighs 219.88 grams of P4O6. Right. Okay. Next, we'll use the stoichiometric ratio between the the 1 stoichiometric ratio. So I take 1 mole of P4 divided by the 1 mole of P4O6. And then now I have this one in the moles of P4. Okay, now I have this one in the moles of P4O6. So I have to change this one into the grams of P4. So again, what is the relationship between the grams and the moles? Yes, I see you have a question. Yes, go ahead.
Miss, I think you stopped sharing your screen.
Oh, really? Okay, thank
Yeah.
you for letting me know. Can you now see my screen?
Yes, good.
Okay, thank you. Right. So, let me explain this again. Now we are trying to find the moles of or the grams of P4 that we must use to obtain 2.88 grams of P4O6. That's why I have to start with the P4 given, with the given value. Then I change the grams of P4O6 into moles of P46 because we always relate the stoichiometric ratio using the moles of these substances. We cannot use the uh, proportions of the grams. The quantities must be converted into moles. Then I take the stoichiometric ratio between P4 and P4O6. It is 1 to 1 according to the balanced chemical equation. Now, let me show you something. Now, here we using the dimension analysis. Let's cross out the equal units. Okay, here I have grams of P4O6. Now you will see in the denominator, that will be cancelling out with the grams of P4O6. In the numerator, I have 1 moles of P4O6. Again, over here, in the next one, in the denominator, you see 1 mole of the moles of P4O6 was cancelled out. What is the remaining thing? The remaining unit is moles of P4. But we must give the answer in grams of P4. So we should change this now into the grams of P4. In that case, okay, now the moles to moles should be cancelled out. So I'll get this the moles of P4 into the denominator, and we use the molar mass of the P4, that is 123.88 grams. Now you will see, okay, the moles of P4 to moles of P4 was cancelled out, and I'll get the answer as 1.62 grams of P4. Right. You have any questions?
No.
Okay, thanks. Right. Now I'll move to the next one. Now I with the first one I found the starting mass for the P4. Now I should calculate the starting mass of the NO. Again, we must start with the given number, that is the 2.88 grams of P4O6 multiplied by again 1 mole of P4O6 divided by its molar mass 219.88 grams P4O6 times. Okay, now we have the answer in moles of P4O6. In the next one, that should go to the denominator. Now we'll make the relationship. We'll relate the moles of the P4O6 to the moles of NO. We'll get that stoichiometric ratio from the balanced chemical equation. According to the balanced chemical equation, 1 mole of P4O6 will be produced by 6 moles of NO. So the numerator should have the 6 moles of NO. Now we have the answer in uh, moles of NO. Now I should change these moles of NO to the grams of NO. So here 1 mole of NO Now you get the mass of the NO using the periodic table. When you add those two, you will get the answer as 30.01 grams of NO. So the answer will be 2.36 grams of NO. Any questions? Okay, we'll move to the next one. In an experiment, 10.00 grams. Okay, before that, let me see whether I put the correct number of sig figs. Yes, 2.88 has three significant units, right? So that's why I have to give the answer with three significant numbers, right? Okay, now we'll move to the next one. In an experiment, 10 grams of the P4 and 10 grams of NO are allowed to react. Determine the limiting and excess reactants and calculate the theoretical mass of the P4O6 that is produced. Right. So now we have to assume, okay, we are starting with the 10 grams of P4 and 10 grams of NO. And we should determine which reactant is in limited amount. The reactant in the limited amount or the provided with limited amount actually limit the amount of the product that it was produced. So that's why we call the amount, the reactant in fewer amount as the or the limiting the product is called as the limiting reagent. Okay, so again, now we should determine the mass of P4O6 that was produced with the both situations, right? So I'll start with the 10.0 grams of P4. Right. So now you all know we cannot do anything with the grams of P4. So we must change that into the moles. 1 mole of P4 equals 123.88 grams of P4. Right. Now the grams of P4 will cancel out with the grams of P4. So we'll have the answer in 1 mole of moles of P4. Then we'll, mm, okay, what's going on? Right. So now we must get the relationship between the moles of, my pen doesn't work. Mm, okay, hold on. Oh, the actually the battery was zero with the uh, Apple Pencil. Okay, so let me explain this using the answer key of that the same thing. Okay, let me change this. Mm, Um, I'm gonna stop this presenting, and I'm gonna stop the meeting for a minute, and I'll get back to the meeting in about 2 minutes. Okay, please forgive me, Ismail. I'll be there.